What is up, guys? Got a special edition of 70s Hard and Heavy for you as I'm joined by special guest Bobby Gass.
Hi, Corey. Bobby Gass here.
Now, in my opinion, Bobby Gass is a treasure of the VC. He's been making videos for close to 10 years now. He's a outlaw YouTuber. His channel's been canceled for almost 4 times for copyright infringement. So if you want to look him up, he may be on Bobby Gass 5, 6, or 7. Always keeping ahead of the YouTube coppers, as he says. So anyway, Bobby Gass is going to be talking about the story of one hot November night.
Uriah Heep, that was down at Massey Hall in 72. That's a story I'll tell. I had a buddy who could get tickets. He used to win tickets all the time. And he used to get tickets, win them all the time. And I could sit anywhere I want, right? And he asked me where I wanted to sit. I needed 4 tickets, my buddy and his girlfriend and my girlfriend. And I said, let's go up into the balcony this time to see Uriah Heep, right? I want to see the whole band, the stage and all of that, right? This is the time they had Salisbury Out and Wizards. They had about 3 albums out at the time. And maybe 4, 3 I think in 72. But anyhow, I wanted to see them. They were a great band.
So there's no actual audio recorded that evening at Massey Hall. However, 30 days, almost a month earlier at Berkeley, California, I was able to get the audio from UriahHeep.com.
And so we're sitting there. We didn't have a front row balcony seat because it says that front row, the balcony only come up to just about your knees, a little higher. So you could get, a little bump and you'd go over the balcony down in the seats below. Forget about it, right? I says, give me second row. And he did, next to the aisle.
All right, so there's Bobby with his friend and his friend's wife, seated, feeling good, and Uriah Heep opens up with Bird of Prey. Not found on the UK pressing at the time. It was found on the North American copy, which I have here. But when you open it up, you'll see the backdrop and the drumhead has the artwork from the UK cover. But they open up with Bird of Prey.
Anyhow, we're sitting there. We get there. It was the winter time, so we all got our coats off. You wear them because it's, you ain't got no place to put them when you're sitting in all of these, like they're theater seats at Massey Hall, right? And if you take it off, you put them on your lap. And I was sitting between the 2 girls, and my buddy was sitting there on the other side of his girlfriend. And she's my buddy's girlfriend, who I used to live with. I introduced them. She kept complaining about how hot it was, right? How hot it was.
So, the dust hadn't even started to collect on this album yet when Uriah Heep kicks out Magician's Birthday. So this album is a favorite for many Uriah Heep fans, or those that don't follow too much or get too much into Uriah Heep. Very familiar with this album. We see this a lot in the vinyl community. But then they knock out a couple of songs here, Traveler in Time and Easy Living.
She takes off her coat and she's, oh boy, is it ever hot, right? So, we're smoking grass and smoking cigarettes. You can smoke cigarettes then and button them on the floor, right? And after, we're there maybe a half an hour or so, right? And she takes off her coat and, and she says, I can't believe how hot it is. And I'm smoking a cigarette and I'm looking at her like, I don't know, maybe she's having menopause or something. I don't know what her problem is.
So then they do 3 songs from Look at Yourself with Gypsy from the debut, somewhere in between there. Now, like I said, this is not the true set list, but it's as close as I could get with a concert from Berkeley only 30 days before Bobby saw this concert. So I'm just taking a guess at this. But they Look at Yourself, they played 3 songs off of this, the self-titled album, July Morning, and Tears in My Eyes, maybe, or Love Machine.
So I drop my cigarette between my legs and step on it, and I look, and I see all of this smoke coming up from the floor. I move aside and I look down.
Somewhere in that set list, in between those Look at Yourself songs, they drop in Gypsy. And so this gives me a chance to show my reissue of the UK version of the debut album, which was called Very Heavy, Very Humble.
I move aside and I look down, and she was wearing blue jeans, that had the frayed bottoms. They were bell bottoms in them days. And she was wearing bell bottoms with the frayed edge at the bottom, and she was wearing leather boots up to her knee, you know, with the pants on the outside of the boots. It was the wintertime. And they had caught on the cigarettes or one of the joints that were down on the floor. They had caught, and like a punk, they just smoldered and burnt all the way up to the top of where her knee was. The whole pants, right? It was so funny, right? So we pounded it out and all of that kind of stuff.
All right, well, somewhere, I mean, we know we have the set list from Berkeley. We also have Uriah Heep Live that came out in 1973, so we knew they were closing the sets with this rock and roll medley. But November happens to be the release date of Magician's birthday. So, according to a couple of the comments that I read, Bobby Gass and his friend got a rare treat. They got to hear Magician's birthday for the first time live at that set. So this album had just dropped. Kind of a proggy looking cover on that one. But yeah, Uriah Heep, Magician's birthday, and then probably the rock and roll medley. At this point, I'm sure Bobby and his friend have safely put out the fire. So now I hope it makes a lot more sense why we called it One Hot Night in November, because in Canada, in November, it is not warm. It's probably something Celsius freezing.
When we left the concert, she only had half a leg. That was pretty funny. Oh, there you go, Corey. A small little story.
Bobby, I want to thank you for contributing to the video and telling your stories. I do also want to thank Konstantinos at Uriah-Heep.com for contributing the audio from the Berkeley, California concert. And hey, if you guys are Heep fans and have audience recordings, please reach out to Kay below. Give him an email and let him know what you have to trade, and he's got some great recordings to trade back with you. Also want to thank Van Hader for the video clip of Uriah Heep performing Easy Livin' in 1973. Thanks guys for coming along for the ride. Another episode of 70s Hard and Heavy, only this time featuring Uriah Heep and the set list from Massey Hall, November 28th, 1972. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Loudest band I ever heard. They hurt my hearing. I wear hearing aids because of it. For 3 days after the concert, my ears actually hurt. They actually hurt. And they rang, and they've been ringing ever since, right? You know, off and on, right? But for 3 days, they actually hurt big time.